Alright guys, BLM here, we're back with more Detroit Become Human. We're continuing on with Zlatko. Okay, still trying to 100% complete it. The thing is here is that we're missing, this is something that we can't do right now. It is nighttime, by the way, so it's been a few hours, so forgive me if I forgot some things that we're doing. But I believe this part is what we need to work on, because this is something we can actually do right now, but we fucked it up last time, and we didn't do it. So, I need to bring up all the charts and everything again, because I don't have those up anymore. But, no, it's not that one. Okay, wait. Yeah, so this one over here, we need, well, the bear cage is already open, so that's the problem. So we can't get that now. Bathroom Android alert, we can't do this one up here. Zlatko closes in. We could still get these two though. So you know what? We'll give this one more shot. See if we can get those. If we can't, then oh well. We'll just restart the entire thing because we're gonna have to play this from the beginning as well. Do a couple of these other ones, but let's just see how this goes. So yeah, since I last recorded, I did make my favorite games of all time list, which I talked about I was going to make because I make it every year. So I finally got around to making it, and it was interesting. I mean, the thing is I feel like my criteria is different now, and I feel like it was the same thing when I did my movie list, is that I feel like I don't really, when I'm rating these games nowadays, I don't really rate them based on nostalgia anymore, and I feel like that's something I really did for a long time, with like having Super Mario 64 as my favorite game of all time, and having games like Smash Bros. Melee, like number 2, and stuff like that. But I feel like as time has gone on, and the more and more I think about it, it's like, to be honest, at this point, I don't think I'll ever play Smash Bros. Melee ever again. So it's like, if that, we're at the point where that's the case, it's like, why is that my number 2 game of all time? And like, kind of same thing with like something like Super Mario 64. It's like, I think I'll play Super Mario 64 again, but I just don't think it'll be that often. And even then, it's like, it's not really it's not a game I really, like, if I had played Super Mario 64 for the first time now, I don't think I would like it nearly as much as I do. And the only reason I do love it so much is because it is a game that really, it was the first like real game I ever played. I mean, technically Super Mario Bros. Deluxe, the remake of the original Super Mario Bros. For the Game Boy Color, that was the first game I ever played. But Super Mario 64 was the first game that really got me into gaming when I was a kid. I mean, I was like 5 years old. Not obviously not when it came out, but when I first played it. Like, when I was born the year it came out, right? Or around there. But either way. So, and I just think like nowadays, it's like, it's just not a game that I really care enough to play anymore. So because I think like, I just changed my criteria. Same thing with movies. Like, movies I used to love. Oh wait, are they out?
There you are.
Ah, fuck, I wasn't paying attention. Okay, we fucked it up already. To be honest, here with Zlatko, I'm kind of thinking we're not even gonna bother with a lot of this, because the problem is that we can't 100% complete Zlatko anyway. So I think we're kind of at a point where it's like, well, what's the point then of doing all this like work, like doing like where we're at the point where we can't 100% complete it anyway. What's the point of like going out of our way and wasting like 20 minutes just to get one little thing when we're going to have to come back to do it anyway? So I'm kind of thinking like we'll still do major ones, but I think like if we have like something minor still hanging, it's like, well, fuck it, we'll just do it the next time we play the game, because again, we can't 100% complete the game with this playthrough anyway. Okay.
No more hide and seek for you.
There we go. So again, we completely fucked this up, right? Like, we're not getting anything new from this, right? Yeah, I went straight from the get caught to this and then the bear. Yeah, we fucked up, because the thing is, we have to do this entire section stealthy, and that's something I'm not good at, obviously. So yeah, yeah, so you know, at this point, we might as well just go to main menu. So yeah, I finished the list. I think there's some minor tweaks that I can make, but I feel like for the most part, it's relatively accurate to how I look at games right now. So yeah, like, yeah, like, and from last year, it's pretty different. Like, it's not as radically different as I thought. I mean, there's some games that are pretty different, but like, I mean, the overall list of 100 is actually very similar. It's just the placements of those 100 games are really different. And obviously, I'm not going to go through all 100 games, but all right, so we got to play this from the beginning, right? So what should we do with this? Because we didn't miss something here. What is this branch? This is being okay. So this we can actually do most of it. So I guess we're gonna purposely have our memory erased, right? And then we'll play it again where we purposely lose Alice, even though we got out of this. And then what is that one? I don't remember what that is. I need to look this up. Yeah, I shouldn't have closed all the charts. Okay. So, oh yeah, that's the running out time. These two are the running out time. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do now. And that's probably gonna take up the entire episode. And after that, we might just go and rush through the third one. Like I don't, because at that point we've done most of what we can do. So let's just do it. We'll do the two that we have to like waste time for right now. So let's go. So yeah, yeah, I have the list in front of me right now. I'll go through the top few spots, but it's like one thing that's made really different is that just the year, like the list I had at the beginning of 2018, I have right here, and like the list from the beginning of 2018, which has changed a lot, was The Last of Us, then Super Mario 64, then Super Smash Bros. Melee, then Assassin's Creed Origins, then Pokemon Fire Red, then Mass Effect 2. Oh, wait, no, not Assassin's Creed, or Assassin's Creed Black Flag, sorry. Pokemon Fire Red, Mass Effect 2, then Assassin's Creed Origins, then Uncharted 4, then Life is Strange, and then Catherine. That was the list. That was my top 10 at the very beginning of 2018. The current top 10. Mind you, some of these games I hadn't even played at that point, right? Certain games definitely moved up, certain games definitely moved down. But number one is Witcher 3. And I was talking about this before, how I think The Witcher 3 is probably my favorite game of all time. And yeah, I made the list and it turned out to be number one. And the thing about gaming that's so tough with me is that there's not a perfect game. Because like, unlike film, where I feel like, yeah, I talked about this before, where I feel like it's easier to have a perfect film. But I feel like with the game, there's just so many moving parts that it's so like that it's almost impossible to have a perfect game. So because of that, it's like I always think of like, okay, is this game my favorite game? No, because it's not perfect. But it's like, no game really is. So it's like, while The Witcher 3 has a lot of flaws, I feel like at this point, I kind of have to say it's my favorite game of all time, just because it's a game that I think I could play a billion times over and over again. It's a game that has so much content within it, especially with, like, I have the complete edition, obviously, so I have all the DLCs. Again, there's so much content there.
I don't know who told
Also,
you that.
like, one of my favorite game characters of all time, Geralt. I mean, like, I just fucking love The Witcher 3. So it's like, I think it has to be number one. Number two is surprising to me, because I actually thought number two,
Come in.
I didn't think it would be this high. Like as of last year, it was in the top 10 still. I mean, it's always been in the top 10 ever since I first played it, I think. Yeah, in 2016, the first list I have here, it was number 10 on that
Come
list.
on in.
So,
Don't be shy.
yeah. But, it's Mass Effect 2, and I love Mass Effect. I really love Mass Effect 2 and 3. And I'm one I've never
Luther,
been a big fan
would you
of,
be
to
so
be
kind as
honest,
to
but
take these
I
ladies'
really love
coat?
2 and 3.
Oh, don't be
And
afraid of our big friend here.
yeah, I mean, the more time
Luther
has
is
gone
just
on,
another
and
android
after
that
having
helped.
played even more games, it
Keeps me
makes me
company
respect
in
Mass
this
Effect 2 even more.
big, empty
And
old house.
like the thing is about Mass Effect 2 is that if you think about it, its narrative isn't really even that great. Its main story of Mass Effect 2 isn't really that great. Like not much actually
Please,
happens. It's just okay.
make
Shepard
yourselves at
has to
home.
assemble a crew to take down the collectors. And that's pretty much the entire play. I mean, you spend 90% of the game, or more than that,
How
gaining
did you
that
hear about
crew
me?
and building relationships
An
with them, and then
android.
at the end you do the battle with the
On the
collectors, or at
street.
least the
He
final
said he
battle.
could
Again,
help
there's a
us.
couple before that, but you get the point.
I see.
But then again, I mean, then again, the suicide mission obviously is one of the best missions in any video game ever. And you also have
Deviant, huh?
obviously all the characters, which most of them are really good. I mean, there's a
What
couple
about
that
her?
are like not my favorite, but even they're developed at least. I mean, like someone like Samara
She's
isn't my
human.
favorite, but it's like that's her name, right? But it's like she's still fine. But then you have great characters, obviously, like
And
Garrus and
we want to find a safe place.
Thane and
Somewhere you can
Miranda
start a new life.
and Jacob's kind of boring, but whatever. You get the point. I mean,
It's very
like it's
lovely
just
this time of year.
the more time has gone on, the
Beautiful
more and more I really
landscapes.
respect Mass Effect 2. And the thing is,
Open spaces. Clean air.
I haven't played Mass Effect 2
And
in
no
about
android
2 or
laws.
3 years now, and I really would like to
Great
play
place
it
for a
again,
fresh
to be
start.
honest. To really see if it really, I feel like that playthrough
That's
of Mass
exactly
Effect 2
what
will
we
really
want.
solidify its
Of
spot.
course.
Either solidify its spot or like
Well, I can help you.
show me why I'm wrong.
But first, we
But
have to get rid of your tracker.
I feel like it is.
Tracker?
I feel like it's number 2.
All androids are fitted with a tracking device to locate them.
Number
at all
3, I
times.
have Persona 5, which
I'll remove
I think is
yours,
up a couple
and then
spots
you'll
for
both
my
be
last
safe.
list. Yeah, my last list was at
Come on. Follow me.
wait, what was that?
The
Okay,
little one
whatever.
can wait for us in the living room.
No, she always stays with me.
Yeah, like my last list,
Of course.
like my 2018 list, like the list I had
Right
at
this
the
way.
end of the year.
Everything we need is in the basement.
Which I mean, again, like what I did, like I have the list from the beginning of 2018, and I have a list from the end of 2018, which is essentially the list from the beginning of 2018, but I add the games that I had played in that year to it without really putting much thought into it. And like unlike this time where I put a lot of thought into doing this, I have a process that I do that
I don't like this place.
to make it like as accurate as possible.
Let's go, I
And
have a bad
like
feeling.
when I just put it on the list, like I have Persona 5 at number 7
He's
from
a bit
last year,
odd.
but this year
I think
again
we
when I
can
redid
trust
the list
him.
and everything, I have it number 3, and I
We
think
don't have much of a choice anyway.
that's pretty close to being right. I mean, like I actually have
Please excuse the
I only have
mess.
5 games that I've ever played
I needed
ranked
somewhere
as a
discreet
perfect
for my
10 out of 10.
machines. Removing trackers is illegal, so I opted for
Mind you, I have
discretion
things
over
like
comfort.
like
I
The
hope
Witcher
the
3
little
at a
one isn't too scary.
9.5.
No.
And yeah, I say
No,
Witcher 3
she'll
is
be
my favorite
alright.
game of all time, but I still give it 9.5 because I think it's a fundamental, like there's some big flaws in the game. Okay, what are we doing? Oh yeah, we have to do this.
Come on, Alice.
This way, please.
Okay. So,
If you could just stand over there.
yeah, the problem, like, so there's only 5 games I give it a 10 out of 10 to. Mass Effect 2 is one of them. Persona 5 is one of them. And then, all the other 3 are also in my top 10, so I'll talk about them in a second. But, the problem I have with Persona 5, there's one problem I have with Persona 5.
I should warn
And,
you, this could be quite unpleasant.
I do feel like the dungeons are, I feel like the, some of the later dungeons are a bit, not too long isn't the right term, but they're kind of, they're very battle heavy, and
You know what's
but I
strange?
mean, that's what you would expect, obviously, from this sort of game,
For
but it's
some
not really what I
unknown reason,
want.
the trackers seem to stop working in Deviants. That's why it's so hard
But I'll
to
tell you
find.
that, I do think it's still perfect. Like, it's a pretty perfect
So,
game, from
Actually,
almost every
there's
other
no reason
aspect.
to remove your tracker.
What?
And
You said
again,
that-
I do have
Yeah,
minor
but
problems. Even a game I give 10 out of 10 to, I would
believe
have
what they
like
want.
some minor problems with it.
You
But
deviants are so
I'm
naive.
I think Persona 5 is still number
They all
10. I
come
mean,
to
like
me
it's still number 3. I
expecting
mean,
me to
game of all
help
time
them.
for me. It's like I mean,
And I just
like I've never
reset them, sell them on.
like I always
Or I
think
keep
like
them
whenever
for
I think
my
of Persona 5, I
little
always think of
experiments.
really good things. And even though I did have, again, I was kind of annoyed at a couple
Let me
spots,
go!
specifically towards the end,
I forgot about the
especially with like the memento
child.
stuff where they force you to do the memento
Lock it
stuff
up.
if you didn't do it
I'll deal
before,
with
which is
it
kind of
later.
annoying.
Alice! Alice, no!
And you have to do it all in one day, which is kind of annoying, but
Deviant
whatever.
that wants to be a mother.
it's-
That's so sweet. And so deluded.
But I just think it's very, which is something that I just
Think it's time
realized
to
that my
put you
top
out of your
3 are,
misery.
actually my top 4 are all RPGs. But Persona 5 is the only one that's not an action RPG. And yeah, I think it's the best turn-based RPG I've ever played. I think it's easily the best JRPG I've ever played. I really
That's what you get for having a
don't
dream.
find many flaws with the game. So
It always ends up the same way. Tears and disillusionment. Believe me, you're better off being erased and feeling nothing. No more pain. No more.
then number 4,
Stashed.
this one surprised me how high it was.
I almost envy you.
Because again, I had it on my last list. I had it at 13.
Alice.
I have it at the beginning of 18. I had it at 21.
Looks like
So I
Mommy's
think like the thing is,
completely
I
forgotten
think
you.
my opinion of this game has just gone up and up over time.
All right,
And
that's enough. Come on.
again, I did a replay of the game not too long ago, like a couple months ago, and I loved it as much, and just as much. And it's Horizon Zero Dawn, and which I just realized is it's the highest console exclusive actually. I mean, like it's the highest
me in the
first
living
party
room.
game. Because Persona 5 is a PS4, well, it's a PS4 and PS3 exclusive, but obviously it's developed by Atlas and published by Atlas, not Sony. Well, Horizon Zero Dawn is developed by Guerrilla Games, a company owned by Sony, and is published by Sony. So obviously we're gonna fail on purpose. But yeah, I mean, like I really. I really, like, the more time has gone on, I really just love Horizon Zero Dawn. And to be honest, I do think there's certain things that could have been more fleshed out. It's essentially, to me, it's essentially The Witcher 3. But, one, it's more, to be honest, I think it's probably more polished than The Witcher 3, if I'm being honest. I think it has a, it has a strong narrative. Again, like Witcher 3's narrative versus Horizon Zero Dawn's narrative, it's kind of hard to rank just because they're completely different stories. Where obviously Horizon Zero Dawn's a more sci-fi sort of based thing, while The Witcher is more so about, like, because I think the thing about Horizon Zero Dawn's narrative is that it's more so about like it's more about like figuring out things. I feel like for me, like what the most interesting things about Horizon Zero Dawn's story is like figuring out stuff that happened in the past, and like the stuff that caused Horizon Zero Dawn, Zero Dawn, whatever, to activate and whatever. Like I felt like that was the most interesting part of Horizon Zero Dawn's story. While with The Witcher 3, I feel like the best part of The Witcher 3 story is Geralt and his relationships with the other people, mixed in with also some like pretty, like, quote unquote epic battles and whatever else, like the Battle of Kaer Morhen and the battle at the end. But it's really about Geralt and his relationship with these characters, these other characters, like like the Bloody Baron and whoever else. It's like
Yes, Luther.
and Ciri, obviously, and like Triss and I can't think of her name. Yennefer, and I'm forgetting people's names. Vesemir, but whatever. like I think they're completely different stories, but they're both pretty good. Yeah, I think there's certain things that are obviously way more fleshed. Okay, what the fuck's going on? That are way more fleshed out in um, The Witcher 3 than Horizon Zero Dawn. But I think what's there, like for what's actually there, I feel like Horizon Zero Dawn is more polished
Just
than
set
The
it
Witcher
down on the
3.
table over there.
So I think in terms of like that sort of part of it, I think it's kind of tough. Other thing is, I mean, The Witcher 3 just has so much more content than
Get rid of that
Horizon Zero
carcass.
Dawn.
Take
Mind the
it next
content
to...
is there for Horizon Zero Dawn, like it, again, it's pretty good. Though, to be honest, I think people overrate the side quests. I don't love the side quests in Horizon Zero Dawn more than other people, but I still think it's good.
Did you hear what I said?
Yes, Zlatko.
Yeah, I just think Horizon Zero Dawn is just like the more time has gone on, it's just the more and more I appreciate the game. And again, I think fourth place is about right for me with that.
Luther! Luther!
So again, we're gonna actively fail this.
Yes, Zlatko. I should be done here in 10 minutes or so. I'll have a look at the little one, see what I can do with it.
Understood, Zlatko. I'll bring you the little one in 10 minutes.
Okay, so we have 10 minutes now. Obviously, we're purposely failing this. But there's something we can do here. There is one thing that we did forget to do last time. So we can do that one now. Or we didn't forget, but we accidentally regained our memory before we could do it.
What are you doing here? Has the Master authorized you to be here? You must always obey the Master. Oh yes,
do anything.
you must always obey. You should not be here. You have no
And,
business.
so yeah, that's that. Number 5, my number 5 game of all time. I don't get, who is this kid that we're trying to find again? Because there's, or is the kid that they're talking about, is that Alice? I just realized that I might be a fucking idiot. That's probably what we're trying to see, isn't it? Yeah, that's what we're trying to see. I'm a fucking idiot. Oh my god. That's what we were supposed to look for last time. So there we go. We have everything that we need for that part of the flowchart. I mean, we have this, but we can't do it, and then this is failing it, right? So, yeah, let's fail it. So we'll wait. How much time do we have left? Okay, so let's just wait. So number 5 game of all time. Another game that one of the few games I've given a 10 out of 10 to. And 5 and 6 are very close. I used to have what I have at number 6 above number 5. I mean, the one I have at number 6 used to be my number 1 game of all time at one point. But yeah, I just realized I'm looking at my 2016 list. It's so weird. But whatever. Yeah. But I think that like it's tough. I think they're super super close, and I'll just say what they both are. Both of them are games I've given 10 out of 10s to. And that is Uncharted 4: A Thief's End is number 5, and The Last of Us is number 6. And for me, it's tough. It's really tough between the two. The thing is, I think the narrative in The Last of Us is a better narrative than Uncharted 4. But I think the gameplay in Uncharted 4 is better than The Last of Us. So I think that part is tough. I think there are more, like, I think both of them have certain little parts that I'm kind of, I'm not that annoyed with, because, like, if I were to replay the game, I wouldn't be, like, that upset. But I feel like with The Last of Us, I feel like there's a more blatant section that I really just don't care for in the game, being the section, the winter section. I just don't love that section in The Last of Us. Again, it doesn't ruin my experience with the game. I still think it's I understand why it's there. It's great for the narrative, but from a gameplay perspective, I'm not a big fan of it. And then with Uncharted 4, there's a few sections where I feel like the shooting goes on for a little bit too long, like in the mostly it's on after you reach the island, after the like once you around the time that you meet Elena on the island and that sort of section of the game. I feel like that goes on for a little bit too long, but yeah, I mean, but overall, it's like they're not major flaws to the point where like I would dock points for them, or at least not dock, like I wouldn't like not give these games 10 out of 10s because of that. So yeah, I mean, like that's what it is. I mean, that's what yeah. So I mean, those are 5 and 6. The trouble was obviously ranking them, and again, as of last year, I had The Last of Us at number 5. At the end of this year, I should say, from the list I had at the end of this year, I had The Last of Us at number 5. I had Uncharted 4 at number 9, and then at the beginning of last year, I had The Last of Us at number 1, and Uncharted 4 at number 8. And I think that as time's gone on, like, to be honest, like if I were to replay one of those two games right now, which one would I play? I would play Uncharted 4. I think Uncharted 4 is a more fun game. And again, The Last of Us I do think has a better narrative, but I don't think it's by much. I mean, I do think I actually do. I think. Well, I think it's tough because again, like I think it's one of these situations, kind of like AC4 versus AC2, sort of, or not AC4 versus AC Revelations. I mean, where it's like AC Revelations is great. It's like one of my all-time favorite narratives, but it's great because of the previous two. If it didn't come, if AC2 and Brotherhood didn't come before it, it just wouldn't be nearly as impactful. Similarly to how Uncharted, like if Uncharted 1, 2, and 3 weren't before Uncharted 4, Uncharted 4's narrative just wouldn't be as impactful. It would still be good, but it wouldn't be as impactful as it is. And while with The Last of Us, I think within that one contained story, it tells a masterful story, kind of similar to AC4, as I said, like where within that one contained story, it tells a pretty masterful story. So it's like, again, it's kind of tough for me when ranking those sort of stories, where it's like ranking, like trying to decide between a conclusion to an overarching narrative or to a just very well made single story. It's like which one is overall better, and I feel like in my opinion, I feel like I give the slight edge to the single story for me, which is ironic considering I'm writing something that, whatever, I'm not going to get into that, but whatever. So those are 5 and 6. Number 7, I have Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. And yeah, I think that's about right. To be honest, it could go down a spot if I really wanted it to, but I feel like 7's about right. Like I feel like the 6 games above it are better, but I do think Brotherhood is my favorite Assassin's Creed. I mean, and again, Assassin's Creed's a franchise that is just near and dear to my heart. Obviously, like it's I mean, the two most impactful games in terms of what got me into gaming, what got, like whatever, like that sort of thing. It's like are Super Mario 64 and Assassin's Creed, because I mean, if it wasn't for Super Mario 64, I would have never gotten into gaming at all to begin with, and without Assassin's Creed, I would have never gotten back into gaming. Because again, I was big into gaming until I was like around 11 or so, like when I was like 4 or 5 till like 11 or so, and I just like kind of stopped playing games. And what got me back was eventually, I still had a PS3, but it broke, and like later that year, like at the end of the year that it broke, my parents got me a 360, and when they got me a 360, like I think I had like a $60 GameStop gift card or something. So I went to GameStop and started buying and bought like 4 or 5 games, and one of those games was Assassin's Creed 1, and I fucking adored it. And that's what got me back into gaming, like really. I mean, because like at the time, that was the year that AC2 had just come out, and I didn't like. So I mean, really, what I did is I played Assassin's Creed 1 like 10 times over and over again, until I was able to get Assassin's Creed 2 for my birthday in April of the next year. So I had to wait like 5 months for that. But yeah, okay, this is taking a while, by the way. We're gonna end I guess we'll end the episode after this. Like, this was just a lot of waiting, isn't it? But Yeah, and then Brotherhood. I remember playing Brotherhood for the first time, and I was just mind blown at how much better it was than 2. And then to me, Revelations, I was disappointed in at the time, but I think in retrospect, Revelations is really good too. And then TMS 3 I liked at the time, and I find it a pretty mediocre game nowadays, so whatever. But Brotherhood, like again, I mean the 3 top Assassin's Creed games, which all of them are in my top 13 here, are Brotherhood, Origins, and Black Flag. And Brotherhood's the only one in the top 10 though, and I feel like that's about right. Number 8 is a weird one. Number 8's actually the only not modern game here. Like every game here is post 7th generation or up. The only not 7th generation or up is my number 8 game here, which is Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green. They're technically the same game, just minor differences. But and Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green is the 5th and final game that I've given a 10 out of 10 to, because I think everything it tries to do, it does pretty perfectly. And again, Pokemon Fire Red's a game that I played the shit out of as a kid. Again, obviously it's a remake of Red and Green, the original Pokemon games, or Red and Blue if you're in America, but, which I am. Well, whatever. And I just think that they're obviously really basic JRPGs, but they're super fucking fun. Like, I mean, that's really all that it comes down to. And it's like, even that, like, just the world building and everything, like the way that they expand upon the world within Fire Red and Leaf Green, where obviously you have the original Kanto region, and they also added in this like was it the Battle Frontier section? Or not Battle Frontier. Was it Battle Frontier? No, it wasn't Battle Frontier in that one. That was the Emerald and stuff. I forgot what they called it in Fire Red, to be honest, at this point. But either way, I ran out of time.
Here's the little one, Zlatko. All right. Let's see what we can do with you.
Save me, Kara, please save
Oh,
me.
will you shut up?
Kara!
Come on.
Kara!
There we go. Okay, we'll end here. Well, actually, I guess we'll go to the guide first, but yeah, then we will, next time we'll actually break free, and then also just waste the 10 minutes. So yeah, how come we're still only at 85% though? That's annoying. Yeah, this one's, we have to be killed. Okay. Trying to think. Okay. So, okay. Yeah, I mean, we'll have to do that, but we'll have to play it. See, I'm not going to give a shit about 100% completing Zlatko at this point, just because we can't 100% complete it anyway. So, like, again, I'll do 2 more playthroughs of it, but I'm not going to bother with, like, doing every little minor thing right now, just because we're not at the point where we can 100% complete it anyway. Because we're going to have to play it again anyway, so. Because, I guess we can look at the... Oh, fuck, what the fuck? What happened there? Why it skipped, like, 3 of them? Oh my god, spare parts is going to be annoying, too, but whatever. Yeah, like, here... okay, so let's just talk about what's missing. Obviously, this is not being reset, which we'll do. Like here, this is my main problem, is that we can't get this one right here. We would have to replay on the run and get a different outcome, and I'm just not willing to do that at this point. So we'll just do it on a separate playthrough. This is the ending we're about to get by not being able to save her, even though we didn't get reset. And then we're at this point where we can still get these, to be honest. Or we can still get this, I should say. I don't know if I mean, the thing is, I do think we should try to get this, right? I mean, the thing is, we're so close to getting 100% anyway. Maybe we should. Yeah, maybe we should. I mean, do everything but this. Because we're so close anyway, actually, at this point. So let's actually replay this. Hopefully, alright, this is gonna be the test. If we reload this and it still has it where the bear is unlocked, we will continue on from here. If it isn't, then we'll just say fuck it and we'll do it. Well, we'll just do what I already said we were going to do. Okay. Okay, can we continue on here?
Luther?
Okay. Let's just see. Like, if we have... Let's see what choices it has for us. So, did we unlock the bear? Because if we unlock the bear, then we will continue on from here. Like, we will actually go ahead and complete it. If we didn't, then fuck it. Well, it looks like, yeah, we freed the bear, so we'll continue on from here then. I mean, we'll try to do this again. But we'll see if we can do it. But that's it for this episode. Thank you for watching.